So Elon Musk and DOGE are highly suspicious. That's coming from a judge. That's the subject of today's video. And check out this headlines, guys. Judge calls DOJ answers about Musk DOGE role, quote, highly suspicious. And this drama keeps unfolding as essentially lawsuits keep pouring in against Trump and Musk and DOGE as they try to do lots of unconstitutional and illegal activities. And, we get so many insider reports. People are fighting back against these people. My personal opinion on this stuff is that they must be stressing out like crazy. I told you guys before that they're looking to hire a whole bunch of defense attorneys. That's Trump and Musk. But no reasonable or good lawyer is going to want to work with these people because essentially you're defending criminals. Defense, in terms of Musk and Trump, they'll go on Joe Rogan and then they'll be, Joe Rogan will be like, oh, yeah, you're so smart. Why don't people love you? Right. This is Fox News saying Joe Rogan, Elon Musk wonder why journalists aren't celebrating DOGE, guys. Celebrate DOGE, celebrate that they're firing you, celebrate that they're lying to you, this kind of stuff. And I want to point this out. I just made a video about Ukraine because sometimes you'll see this stuff on the internet. I just want to show you what it looks like. This is a Russian bot, Bronco I7Z. They say, Trump is such an effing legend. Zelensky is just a criminal, right? And you look at when the date of the account was made was on January 3rd, 2025, new account. You'll see this from time to time when you see sort of these weird generic responses saying Musk is a hero or Trump is a hero, right? Like it doesn't really exactly relate to the video or anything specific. That's what bot stuff looks like. So I wanted to say, when you see people out there loving Trumps and Musk, you never know. You never know where that stuff's coming from. The DOGE stuff is all about cutting government, right? They want to fire as many people as they can, and you'll get these kind of headlines, and I want to explain it to you, right? So it says, meme coins aren't subject to securities regulations, says SEC. What? So the basic gist of it is, if you remove regulations, if you fire a bunch of people, they can run their scams. That's what this is all about, right? Isn't this highly suspicious? Obviously, the judge thinks so. Whenever you do call them out, though, because they don't want to necessarily get in trouble with the law, that they're trying to skirt the law as much as they can, they do take precautions. So again, they're trying to hire defense attorneys. This is actually Katie Miller. That's Stephen Miller's wife. So Stephen Miller is one of the, I'm not sure what word to say it. If you want to, well, I try to be polite when I make these things, but we'll just say it. He's probably one of the more Nazi type of people on their team, but that's his wife. Trump even went to their wedding. So she's trying to eliminate conflicts of interest. She works for a consulting firm. They advise lots of golf course companies, these kind of things, consumer brands. And basically, if you want influence in the White House, if you want influence with Musk or Trump, you can pay her money or whatever, right? She's a consultant. So she steps down, actually. They're trying to remove any kind of conflicts of interest. And on top of that, this is sort of what they're trying to do as well, is roll back civil rights era stuff. So be it Department of Labor, be it Social Security, all these things to protect you and make for a more safer and fairer society they want to eliminate. That's what they're up to. So let's read a little bit what the judge has to say regarding Musk. And again, this is about DOGE. It says, a federal judge overseeing a lawsuit claiming Elon Musk is wielding vast unconstitutional power. That's why we're suing this. We think Elon Musk is wielding vast unconstitutional power to reshape U.S. government, said he was, quote, highly suspicious of Trump administration's incomplete explanation of the billionaire's actual role, right? This tells you. So everyone has all these questions, and then the Trump people try to come up with somewhere to answer. It doesn't really make sense. Your answers are highly suspicious. It's incomplete, right? This is the kind of stuff where we don't know exactly what they're doing. They keep trying to dodge lawsuits by pretending like, oh, well, Musk isn't really in charge of it. It's actually this other person, right? It's all smoke and mirrors to shield Musk from liability. Moore says here, U.S. District Judge Theodore Chong on Friday grilled a U.S. Justice Department lawyer hearing in Maryland about the structure and actions of the Department of Government Efficiency, right? So what are you doing? How's this thing structured? Who's giving the orders? This kind of stuff. And again, they're trying to shield Musk. The judge said that while the government had represented in court that Musk isn't the head of DOGE, it wasn't offering complete details about his role or who is running the new agency, right? So this is clear. They're trying to protect Musk, right? And he's like, well, okay, so if Musk isn't in charge, who is? Right? That's the question. And so it's interesting to, and I say this again, and I'll say it again and again and again. Sure, I understand. If you're a Musk or Trump fanboy, fangirl, you watch Joe Rogan, you watch Fox News, you say, oh, yeah, yeah, they're always telling the truth. Well, what I have to say about this stuff is like, if you're really telling the truth, testify before Congress, give testimony before a court, tell it to a judge, right? That's what really holds water with these kind of people. And I understand you can listen to other podcasts, they can lie however they want, but try it in front of a judge, try it in front of the Congress. And already you can see the judge is calling them out. So that's what we're looking for. Goes on, and this is actually really interesting when you go through the details here. Chuang is the latest judge handling some of the legal challenges to President Donald Trump, executive orders to demand more information about DOGE and to raise concerns about the explanations they've been receiving about what Musk and his efficiency team are doing inside federal agencies. Like, what are you up to? Give us more details. And they've been, the Musk and the Trump people have been trying to hide it as much as they can. Chuang didn't immediately rule on whether to grant the plaintiff's request. So the lawsuit is to stop Musk and Trump immediately, right? Stop Musk immediately. So it says he didn't immediately rule to request to bar Musk and DOGE affiliated employees from accessing records at the U.S. Agency for International Development or making decisions about the agency personnel or spending. The plaintiffs are current and former U.S. AID employees and contractors. So, and this is one of many agencies or many employees, I guess you could say, that are firing many agencies that are employees that are suing Musk. Here's some more details of this. The challengers are saying he was head of DOGE, Chuang told the government lawyer, quote, "You're saying he wasn't, but we can't tell who was," which admittedly is highly suspicious, right? That's the quote. The judge is like, okay, so you're saying Musk isn't the head, but who was, right? You're saying he wasn't, but we can't tell you who was, which is admittedly highly suspicious. The judge added, "I'm not saying that you're not being candid, so you're not necessarily a liar, right? I'm not saying you're not being candid, but just the whole operation, it raises questions." So the judge is being polite, right? That's what judges, because they go with the law, they go with the facts. That's what you should do. And you do call it out, right? So, tell me the truth on this stuff. The White House earlier this week confirmed the identity of the person who's serving as administrator of DOGE, Amy Gleason, but again, this is just a fall person, and whether or not she volunteered for this, who knows? You can ask Amy. I mean, it's weird because Musk is clearly the head of this thing. He tweets out nonstop. Him and Vivek were the names of this stuff. Like suddenly they give it a different name. Like the way this is, I mean, you read through the whole arguments that the Trump people are trying to protect Musk. It just becomes clear they're a bunch of liars. I just know where to put it. And that's why, like I said, any of this stuff, tell it before a judge. Even the judge is saying your details are incomplete. Also says here, after stating in court papers that it wasn't Musk, talking about the who's head of DOGE administrator thing, despite Trump's public statements about putting the billionaire in charge, right? So in public, Trump is saying, oh, yeah, Musk is in charge. And then they, submit papers and like, oh, no, it's really the other person, right? So that's where you're catching them in a lie, basically. Musk, the chief executive of Tesla Inc., and the world's richest person, has been the public face of the administration's push to slash spending in the federal workforce. Also says here, Justice Department lawyer Joshua Gardner struggled to directly answer some of Chuang's questions, right? So he's and lawyers, right? They're not stupid. They don't want to necessarily go to prison over this stuff, so they're trying to all right, I'll take the fifth, though I don't know for sure. I'll get back to you. That kind of run around answers. Gardner said he didn't have information about whether anyone had served as a DOGE administrator before Gleason, right? Because that would be a legitimate question as to like, okay, so if Musk isn't in charge, who's in charge? Okay, so now you're saying this Amy person's in charge. Was she the only person in charge? Was she in charge from the beginning? Like, meaning that was Musk in charge, then Amy, then then now Musk again, or whatever? Like trying to get a chain of events. That's what they're going for. And the lawyer, right, for the Trump people is like, Gardner said he didn't have information whether anyone else had served at the DOGE administrator, right? So he's just saying, I don't know. Before Gleason, and what agencies DOGE affiliate employees detailed to ASID had come from. Chuang, that's the judge, asked if Gardner had tried to find out, right? Did you ask questions? Did try to find out if anyone preceded Gleason, saying it seemed like a knowable fact, right? Someone should know. Someone should know this stuff. So the judge is prying on here, right? Asking. Gardner said he had asked. That's the lawyer, the defense lawyer for the Trumps and Musk. He didn't specify who he tried to communicate with. So who'd you ask, right? He's like, I asked, but we don't know who you're talking to, but wasn't able to get an answer. So that's the weak defense that they're having here, and that's why I'm going through this whole thing with you guys. It's pretty obvious there's shenanigans going on. You can see it in their defense. You can just see it in the explanations and the incomplete stuff they provide. Essentially, when you're caught in a lie, you just keep making up more and more stuff. But the lawyer though is just basically trying to go like kind of my like, okay, how can I answer without answering? That's essentially what their lawyer is trying to do. It says here, Chuang, again, the judge, also expressed frustration with the lack of documentation in the court filings from the government showing who approved recent activity at USAID, right? Who gave the order? That's what this ends up being. Who gave the order? And I'm telling you guys, you don't want to be on the wrong side of history of this stuff. I would not be getting involved with Trump or Musk stuff at all. I mean, you can see how they're trying to defend themselves. They just keep trying to be like, oh, no, they did it, right? So they're all trying to avoid blame here. That's how these games usually are played, where the top person will give an order and they try to make someone else a fall guy and later pardon him. I think that's their plan, but it's a dangerous game. You're dealing with people's lives. You're breaking the law, and you're gonna really hurt a lot of people. So Gardner said that that's a lawyer. The Gardner said that the Justice Department office that defends the administration in court had shrunk by half since November. People are quitting, and now is trying to keep up with dozens of lawsuits unfolding on fast schedules. So I guess the lawyer is like, oh, well, I tried to ask questions, but I'm really busy. I'm sorry, I can't do my job. We're just getting sued by so many people. Can you give me more time? Like, it's just, it's a song and dance by their lawyers, you guys can see. Then it says here, Chuang suggested that it was, quote, part of the problem of the Justice Department and USAID didn't have enough people to respond to lawsuits. Well, it's like that's part of the problem. But one of the things I'll say is Musk has pulled this crap off before, where they fire a whole bunch of people, be it Tesla or Twitter. And when the press tries to contact me about more details of stuff, they don't have a communications office. They don't have, anyone to pick up the phone. When in doubt, if in their situation, if you don't want to lie, just pretend like you don't hear someone. Would be like, what? What'd you say? I didn't. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Repeat the question, right? Like they're just, it's all the stuff they can to dodge. I don't know how long they can keep this up, to be perfectly frank, because you're ticking off so many people and hurting so many people, and people have rights. People are going to sue you, and there's going to be a lot of lawyers who are going to want to help people fight for what's right, and there's going to be very few good lawyers, if any, that are going to want to defend Trump and Musk. You do not want to be on the wrong side of history on this, and so that's why even like I mentioned before, the Miller's wife is trying to cover her conflicts of interest stuff, and on top of that, you got just more nonsense coming out of this administration. I guess now we're talking about maybe we're going to attack Mexico. For real, this is Hagues. I mean, I could do a whole separate video on this, but I just wanted to say, like, this is the kind of crazy stuff that we're dealing with. Or Trump keeps wanting to do tariffs, but they don't have enough competent people and staff. He wants to do, enough, all these things like so quickly, because you want to analyze, what's his ramifications going to have. And usually, you take time to plan out your policy, but they're doing things so fast. And then on top of that, the way that their game is played is if they do tariffs, then they want to take, bribes, kickbacks or whatever to get exemptions. Like there'll be some companies are like, well, can you give me exemption? And they'll be like, well, what's it worth to you? And that's sort of like, usually we go through someone like a Katie Miller or something of that nature to do these things. So it's interesting to watch all of this stuff play out. It's good though that the courts are working and appear to be, doing their job, but I understand the frustration, guys. You want the courts to move faster. I understand that. I mean, I feel the same frustration. I'm just trying to show you there is progress being made, and you can see it. I can see the obvious corruption with Musk. And yes, I would agree. It's highly suspicious. He doesn't outright, the justice call him a liar, but it's kind of the same where, how do you call someone a liar without actually using that explicit language? Because as a judge, you're saying, hey, I'll give you the opportunity to show me evidence. And it's kind of like, I guess the best way to describe it from the Musk and Trump point of view is the dog ate my homework, right? That's kind of ends up being their defense. So I want to hear your thoughts on any one of these things, and I'll catch you all in the next video.